Welcome back, everyone, to episode 68 of Around the Book podcast. This week we have one of us has NFL Week 18, and then all of us are going to be going over college football playoff with the quarterfinals this week, or actually tomorrow. It started tomorrow night. We'll be going over those games. And we were out last week just because the holidays and everything. We didn't expect anyone to watch us on Christmas. Like we said, you're a true degenerate if you were willing to watch us on Christmas at 9:30 at night. But we appreciate you guys watching.
Hates you.
Yeah. Either way, you hate your family.
You hate your family. Your family hates you.
Yeah.
Maybe you pissed in the punch one year.
Yeah.
Something happened, and it's been downhill since.
Yeah.
Maybe being a degenerate has alienated you from your
Correct.
family.
Yeah.
Maybe they hate the words parlays and money line more than anything else. Who knows? Something.
Yeah. They don't care if that you need Patrick Mahomes to throw for 10 more yards.
Exactly. They could not care less.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead. I don't have any NFL Week 18 picks. I went 2-1 last week or from our last episode, so I'm going to end the regular season on a high note. With it being so early in the week, I'm just going to hold off. I know Dalton is going to be brave and start making some picks on this week already, so we'll turn the episode over to him for right now and go ahead and give us your NFL Week 18.
Yeah, falling a little bit. My NFL units are now outweighed by my NFL winnings are outweighed by my college football losses. So I'm trying to get back above 20 units for the year in NFL.
Football giveth and taketh away, as they say.
Yeah.
So I got a couple picks where I'm mostly focused on the games where we kind of have a good idea of who's playing, who's not. But my first one, speaking of a team that's not probably going to be playing anybody, but I still like to win this week, give me the Texans money line at plus 180 at the Titans. The Titans, they can't beat anybody twice. I just don't believe that is possible, especially this Titans team right now quarterbacked by, I think Mason Rudolph is going to be playing again this week. They're bad. And I don't care if the Texans are playing some backups, which, is more than likely the case, but they still have some momentum to play for. I don't think seeding is really a big priority at this point, but they got to get some momentum going heading into the playoffs. They haven't looked great lately, so I still think they're going to show up. Even if
that 31-2 loss is not feeling probably great right now.
Yeah. I think this will be a get-right game. I could even see some of the starters playing for a half and then coming out. I think they're going to get a lead and shut it down. And, I see them winning this game. And plus 180 is way too good a value to pass up.
Yeah.
Speaking of value, I'm also taking Raiders money line at plus 200 against the Chargers because for some reason the Raiders have decided to start playing. Aiden O'Connell looks like he probably should have been the starter all along. Go figure. Also, the Chargers, don't have a ton to play for this week. Some seeding is pretty much it, but they're already in. And the Raiders played them pretty tough earlier on in the year. And that was with Gardner Minshew. I really do think that O'Connell makes this team a lot better.
Yeah.
And now that the defense, other than a couple guys up front, Crosby and Wilkins, the back end of this defense is fairly healthy now. I think they're gonna be able to win this game. In a game that doesn't really mean much to the Chargers, I think the Raiders have a lot of guys that are playing for contracts next year, so I think they're going to end on a high note. And I just love the value there.
Yeah.
Finally, give me
petition real quick, Dalton. I would like to petition for Aiden O'Connell's nickname to become the Tank Buster. I would love to call him that because he's certainly doing it right now for this team.
Yes.
The tank is no longer on, folks.
Did it last year too?
In the trenches. He did. He really did in a lot of ways too.
Yeah. I like that. That's a less confusing nickname than his current nickname, AOC.
Yeah, you never know. People aren't really sure who you're talking about there. And
Yeah.
conversation might steer in a direction you're not really planning for it to go. So,
And then for my last one, I got Eagles -4 at -110. I think they're going to cover that easily. The Giants are just awful.
hey, don't tell that to Drew Lock right now,
Yeah.
buddy. Hey, there's a reason I'm wearing this hat. It's for Drew Lock. Drew Lock redemption arc.
Had a good
ruining
game.
the Giants fans, ruins their lives by not getting the first pick now. So
Had a
funny.
good game, but the Eagles, I do think, have a little bit of seeding stuff to secure this week. I think they're still like making sure they're locked into. I mean, they're pretty locked into the 2 seed. I think they do. If Detroit lost,
they're clinched at the 2 seed
tonight. If Detroit loses tonight and wins next week, do the Eagles have a shot at the 1 seed still?
No, they're only able. They clinched the 2 seed. Yeah, they're locked into it.
Yeah, so they don't have a ton to play for, but they do have some records to play for, like Saquon, and I think they might go for it. I can see them. I think they're going to play the starters for a half. That'd be my guess. And still, I think as we saw last week, the Eagles' backups are still a lot better than most team starters. I think
this is true.
Tanner McKee would probably be the best quarterback on the Giants roster right now.
Dude, he had some great passes to A.J. Brown yesterday.
It's too bad he wasn't in the whole game because could have helped me win my fantasy championship last night, but whatever.
Just want to say, like, I was very happy to see that because I feel very vindicated for having McKee as my QB5 that year. Mm-hmm. I feel very vindicated by that, seeing him finally get some NFL action. But yeah, I do like the Eagles to cover that spread just because I think they just have too much talent. And then I do have a parlay for this week. I got Commanders -3 against the Cowboys. The Commanders, I think, are playing for a seed a little bit, and the Cowboys are just looking rough. Raiders +6. And then give me the Falcons -7.5. Falcons have to win this week, and the Panthers just aren't a good football team.
Yeah, they ran out of gas, I think, after that Cardinals game. So
yeah, I think the Falcons will cover a 1-score game easily. So those 3 games parlay at +595. That's all I got.
Pretty good. I like it. The Falcons did let me down last night because I needed like a 30 bomb from Drake London to win my championship. Also, it was because A.J. Brown didn't do a whole ton outside of his touchdown. And Michael Penix Jr., as good as he played, kind of missed Drake London in the end zone in the one play. And then they didn't get the ball back because the defense was cheeks. They were like, oh, Jaden Daniels can run. Could have fooled me. Yeah. Pretty much what it felt like. So whatever with the Falcons, man. I do hope they miss the playoffs because this team does not deserve to make the playoffs.
No.
The playoffs.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were very close to losing on Monday Night Football to the Raiders a couple weeks ago. Yeah. They have no business being in the playoffs.
I agree.
But good for good old Michael. Remember, enunciate Penix or Penix Jr., whichever you want to go with. I don't remember the actual like proper pronunciation, but good for him that he's getting some reps. Also, Kirk Cousins might they think apparently, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they apparently think that he just can't play football at all anymore. Like not just for them, but like period. Like the Falcons think that he's that bad apparently, like physically. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So good luck getting off that contract, folks.
So the Falcons said that?
Apparently a report is that internally they think that he's done, like that he probably shouldn't play football anymore. Like that's where he's at physically. So,
I wonder if that's just like the Falcons like trying to save some embarrassment on themselves and being like, maybe no, he was broken, see guys, or they're just like,
well, they also could have just not signed him then, considering they must have done a physical. You'd assume, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, especially if you're putting that kind of investment.
Whatever.
But yeah, speaking of fantasy. Shane there mentioning that now with Penix being the star, can't wait for next year. Everyone is going to be drafting Michael Penix as their backup quarterback in fantasy simply for the name puns.
Yes. Yeah. There will be many Michael Penix themed team names, none of which that you want to say out loud to your younger family members. That's all I'm going to say about that. So the tip of my penis is a great one right off the top of my head. Like, you love that one.
Energy.
Exactly.
Phoenix Breath.
Yes, awesome one. For sure, you love that one. We'll save the rest for later, but
shout out,
very very good one. Yeah.
Shout out Michael Penix. I mean,
Love
he looked great. He looked great.
You always love to hear that about the network.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, I was up to say something. All right, we'll stop. So, all right, so that's NFL Week 18. There's still some gyms out there. So Detroit and Minnesota, that'll be for the number 1 seed. So there's still some good games, but just want to stay away for right now. And it's funny that the NFC South runs through New Orleans and Carolina, but in a different way. So,
oh my God.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into college football, the playoffs. We're in the quarterfinal round. 4 games. There's one tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, and that one is Penn State, technically at Boise State, but wherever the game's being played. The spread on this game is 11.5. And that's what I got it at. And we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to take Penn State minus 11.5 in this game. I think that Penn State's defense matches well, just based off what I see, matches well against this Boise State offense. If they can stop Genty, which I think they can slow him down. I don't think they're going to stop him completely, but they will slow him down enough that they can cover this 11.5 point spread. Obviously, they took care of SMU. I think they're just going to keep marching on in these playoffs.
Yeah, begrudgingly, I am taking Penn State to cover 11.5. Just knowing Penn State, I get nervous just because to beat Penn State, you got to run the ball and start fast. Because if you get behind and you get one-dimensional, you're done. And the way the pass rush and secondary is, Boise State can run the ball really well, which is what does worry me. Now, I don't know. I'm curious to see how they do running the ball against Penn State's defense. They look good against Oregon, but as we know, Oregon not great against the run. So it's hard to see how that'll look against Penn State. But I think the reason why I do feel good about Penn State covering this is Boise State got into trouble a lot this year in Mountain West games because they started slow. And if they do that this week, they will be in trouble. If they have to start throwing the ball on a regular basis and get one-dimensional, they have no chance. And it's going to get ugly quick, as we saw in the Penn State SMU game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually going to go the opposite way with you compared to you guys with this one. I do have Boise State plus 11.5. And I think the main reason I think that is the reason why, outside of just being out talented clearly against SMU is clearly just not talented enough to hang with Penn State once things got ugly. I don't think you're going to get the same turnover fiesta that happened ironically in the Fiesta Bowl that you had with SMU. Boise State has taken care of the ball better than really anybody in the country this year. And I don't think it's going to change just going against a Penn State defense that obviously is a little bit more talented than they have typically played. But I just think Genty's going to do enough to keep them in this game and keep them balanced enough where Penn State's going to have to give them their best shot on their offense to keep this game from getting really close to the point they could honestly be upset. I think it matters a lot whether Penn State can start fast because we saw against SMU, the offense really didn't get going until after the turnovers and after the defensive touchdowns kind of spotted them enough points where they never even had to score the rest of the way, actually. I don't think you can get away with that against Boise State. I think if they can get a quick score, a big play from Genty, maybe Madsen makes a throw or two, they get a score quickly, it could really kind of shift and kind of swing the game their way for a lot of it. I do think they ultimately pull it out because they just are more talented. Franklin showed that despite the fact that the big game's been a problem for him, the competition level does matter more than the ranking, right? Like just because Boise State is ranked very highly doesn't mean they're the same level of competition as Ohio State in the past or Michigan in the past against them. So I think that they're good enough to win this game still, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was a smaller margin than people think.
Yeah. If Wisconsin does get up, or if Boise State gets up like 10-3 at the end of the first quarter. This could look a lot like the Minnesota and the USC games.
Yeah, where they have to battle back and actually like make the plays to win the game instead of just put the game away.
Yeah.
Which is not their strong suit. They are a front-running team.
They really are. They're at their best when they don't have to create explosive on offense to get back in the game. So,
yeah.
And I'm trying not to take recency bias in this game, just because we saw Penn State just absolutely manhandle SMU, and we haven't seen Boise State in the playoffs yet. But I don't know. We'll see. I think this is going to be a good one. I think this is a great start to the quarterfinal. I think this is going to answer a lot of questions with how this playoffs are going to go. All right. So the next game we have is at 1 o'clock Eastern, and is the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between Arizona State and Texas. I'm taking Arizona State plus 12.5 in this game. They are scrappy, and Texas just seems like they're like this really nice looking Ferrari that drives really good, and then you have this beat up fucking F-150 come up that's ready to fuck them up. So I got Arizona State plus 12.5 in this one. I don't think Texas is going to be ready. I think Arizona State is ready to fight. I don't know if Texas is ready to handle that. So I'm taking plus 12.5 in this one. I think Texas could win, but this is too many points in my opinion.
Yeah, this is tricky because I am taking Texas minus 12.5. I'd like it more if it was like -8, but I'm still going to take them to cover 2 scores because I think the talent gap is too much. I do like Arizona State a lot. They showed a lot in that Big 12 title game. But, man, I mean, what Texas did to Clemson, the way, a team that I think has a lot more talent than Arizona State, the way they outclassed them, I think, I worry that Texas just has too much talent for Arizona State to handle. And I think we're seeing where the line is. I think Clemson is right on the line of having enough talent to compete with those SEC and Big Ten teams, but Arizona State is just not a school that is in that league. And I think eventually Clemson will be one of those teams that joins the SEC and Big Ten when they split off into their own subdivision. Arizona State's never going to be that. And I think this is where we see that. I think generally that's going to be the trend this week, is just the outclassing of the top programs in the country.
Yeah, I think it's really tough because Arizona State deserves a lot of respect for what they did this year, considering the circumstances and where they came from last year after the Pac-12 obviously dissolved and they have to move over to the Big 12. So no disrespect to Arizona State, but like you guys said, even you, Casey, to a certain degree, like this is just a game to me that talent is going to matter more than anything else because the talent gap is huge. And the honestly, a big part of it is also the experience here. Yeah. Arizona State is a kind of like up and coming out of nowhere team that has a redshirt freshman quarterback, has a running back that as great as he is more of this grinder power player, more so than this freak athlete that's going to create plays out of nowhere against a defense as talented as Texas. Like, unless Scatabo has a huge game and has a ton of big plays that kind of are created out of nowhere for him, I don't think their offense is going to be able to move the ball well enough to cover this spread. So I do have Texas minus 12.5. Now they could kind of limit Texas' offense a little bit because, again, Quinn Ewers is one running it, and I always think that there's a chance you could have a 20-point game from him because it just is what it is. But I don't think it'll matter ultimately if they can't score with them, and I don't expect that to be the case. So I'm going to take Texas minus 12.5 as well.
Yeah, I think my big reasoning behind taking Arizona State in this one is if they can land a punch. I don't know how Quinn Ewers is – like if they can land a couple quick punches, go up 10-0 or 7-0 after the first quarter, like can Quinn Ewers do it? And will Texas and will they make the right choice and go to Arch? Like they are so stuck on
fair.
That I think it's going to bite them, and this could be the game that it happens. It just, I don't know. That's why it's betting.
That's fair.
I'm taking the game on this one. It could bite me in the ass, but
Again, the spread is a little hefty for
Yeah,
what it is. But again, Texas just showed you last week that even if
true.
yours doesn't play that well or do that much, their run game last week was phenomenal.
Yeah.
They were able to run the ball all over Clemson. So I think they could do a similar thing to Arizona State.
Yeah, Dabo was definitely a day late and a dollar short on the transfer portal for that
A
game.
little bit.
Yeah. I know. I thought they were going to win that one. Okay. So next we had the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, 5 Eastern. A lot of people saying that this should be the championship game between Ohio State and Oregon. It's kind of sad that we're getting this game in the quarterfinal and not like something we can keep like looking forward to. But we're getting it nonetheless. I'm taking Ohio State -2.5 in this one. Not because I'm a fan, but it was good to see how they responded against Tennessee. It felt like the whole world was against them besides the players and the coaches. So, I mean, even the university felt like it was against them. So, just students and fans. So, it was nice to see them respond. And they're out for blood against Oregon. I think Will Howard is definitely looking to build upon his best performance of the year. I think he had against Tennessee. I think they can cover this 2.5. It's going to be very close. I thought about just taking money line because even the 2.5 is scaring me with how close I think this game could be. But I'm taking Ohio State to cover.
This is definitely probably the tightest matchup I think we have in this round, in this quarterfinal.
We've also
I am taking Oregon.
So
yeah,
I'm taking Oregon money line at +110, mostly because I think it's a toss-up game. I love plus odds in any toss-up type game. And also, I think the last time they played, Oregon won a close one. I think Oregon's a much better team than they were when they played earlier on in the year. And I think that from what I've seen, there's been a lot of growth from Oregon. Ohio State's been very up and down throughout the year. As great as they looked against Tennessee, there's games like that Michigan game where they just don't show up. Now that might just be Michigan. But there were a couple games throughout the year where they didn't look great in, like the Nebraska game. And it's just Oregon, I think once they, from the Ohio State game on, they started to really turn a corner and they've really looked good. And I mean, the last time we saw them was in that Big Ten title game. And I thought Penn State played arguably their best game of the year in that game. And Oregon still looked significantly better. And I don't know if anybody's beating Oregon right now. I really right now, if I had to pick, I think they'd be my pick to win it all right now. That's just kind of where we're at. But it's going to be a really tough, close game. I can see it going either way.
I think for me with Ohio State, and I do have Oregon money line as well, Dalton, the plus odds, like you said, just kind of hard not to take. But I think more importantly, like with Ohio State, Will Howard has played very well down the stretch of the season in general. The Michigan game, obviously a tough one, but in general, he's played much better down the stretch. I've even started to see some NFL buzz with him. Not sure if I'm there on that quite yet. We'll have to talk about that at some point. But in general, he's played much better. He looks the part as a big, tall, athletic quarterback. However, I think at the end of the day, in a game like this, I'm going to take the team who I think their fastball is better. And I think Oregon's fastball is better than Ohio State's. Like on their best day, I think that Oregon is the better football team. And also you have to factor in with the quarterback play, like Dylan Gabriel, despite the fact that, when we did our scouting stuff, which by the way, we'll be doing that later tonight as well, another scouting show episode at 8:30. Dylan Gabriel is not one of those quarterbacks that I expect to make a huge impact at the next level, but at the college level, it doesn't get much better than him this season. And I think he showed that against Penn State, and I think he's going to show that in this game as well, that he's even gotten better since that game against Ohio State, despite him playing very well in that game. And again, I don't think Ohio State ultimately is going to get it done. I appreciate them for being able to kind of, again, just blow the stink off that Michigan game, right? You come in, you beat Tennessee at home. Yeah. You kind of remove that element of like, is this team actually as good as we thought they were? They are very good. But I just think Oregon is better at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think, and I think the strong suit all year for Ohio State has been that defense, and I think that was what kept them in that game against Oregon, along with some stupid – and also on the other side of the ball, just stupid penalties kept them out of it as well. But the defense is really a strong point. I think that defense is so much better now than it was then. So I think this is going to be interesting. I like you said, I think
it's going to be a great game either way.
Oregon is vastly improved, but I think Ohio State's defense has improved as much as them and as quick as they have, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, speaking of that defense, I do think that is really what it comes down to is Ohio State secondary. If they can step up and not be a liability in that game, I think that really gives Ohio State a much better chance. Because otherwise, it's going to be tough for them to keep up with Oregon if their secondary doesn't hold up against Oregon's passing game.
And I think it's a team like Ohio State that has so many guys in the front seven who are some of their best players. It's really tough to play Oregon when they have two NFL tackles there. That is kind of, I think, what kind of makes the defense for Ohio State less effective against a team like Oregon, where they were able to overwhelm teams like Indiana, right, who had one of the best offenses statistically in college football, but simply couldn't block Ohio State, right? Yeah. Oregon is able to block Ohio State and showed that in their first match. But I think that's why what Dalton said about the secondary, they need to be the players of this game. Like, they need to be the players of the defense to step up, because even if the Ohio State pass rushers play well, it might not be enough with the way Gabriel's playing right now.
Yeah, especially with the quick game. The quick game really takes that pass rush out of it.
It does. And so they have to read their keys and jump passes and try to break up stuff and get some third and longs and get out of bad situations. So
yeah, I agree. So that'll be a good one. And then we'll have one more to round out the night at 8:45 Eastern. It's the All-State Sugar Bowl between Notre Dame and Georgia. I don't know why, but this game just seems boring to me.
I could tell you why.
It just I'm taking Notre Dame plus 1.5 on this one because even with Beck out, I don't know. Notre Dame just looks like they can make a little run, and Georgia just doesn't have that magic like they used to. I feel like in their championship runs, but we'll see. So I'm taking Notre Dame plus 1.5. But tell me why this game sucks, Shane.
I can go next here if you want. It's because Notre Dame, no one wants, except for Notre Dame fans, no one wants Notre Dame to be good. Let's be honest about it. Yeah. No one wants them to win this game, right? Like, I know Georgia's annoying this year, and it's they're not very good either. But Notre Dame in the semifinals just feels, I don't know, weird to me. I don't like it that much. However, I do have Notre Dame plus 1.5 as well, mostly because I do think Georgia just isn't very good. And then you have a quarterback that, yes, he's had a lot of time to prepare. Hopefully this time he doesn't get his shit absolutely rocked at the goal line like he did against Texas.
Dude, I still don't know how that kid's alive.
I don't know, but good for him. But yeah, with Beck going to the draft, which I guess is what he should do. I don't know, whatever. It just feels like this is not Georgia's year. And I think the best thing for them as a program, honestly, is probably to take this loss on the chin to a Notre Dame team that no one really knows what to do with and hope you can kind of build back for next year, right? So I think Notre Dame will come away with this win. It'll be timely plays on offense by that running game and Leonard making a couple throws. And, if they can protect him and allow him to make a couple throws, which is tough against Georgia, admittedly, I think that'll be the difference with Georgia starting a kid that has not played very much and against a really strong Notre Dame defense. So,
all right. So, as you kind of said it, I just refuse to believe in Notre Dame.
Again, which is fine. 100%. Yeah.
I'm taking Georgia -1 because I refuse to believe that Notre Dame can beat a team, especially a legit SEC defense like Georgia, that is going to really smother them. And to me, Riley Leonard is just the latest portal boy quarterback that they brought in. That's
QB4 to you, Dalton. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Means nothing, but God.
Yeah. QB4 in a 2 QB class.
Exactly. Yeah, it does not matter at all. You could rank him 8th. I'd be like, yeah, all right, sure. Anyway,
But yeah, I don't see it. I really think like the defense of Georgia is going to be the difference. Like this is going to be a boring game. This should probably be the 5 o'clock game, honestly.
Yeah.
I would rather it have been the 5 o'clock game.
Yeah. I think the only reason it's not is it's nice if you have to work on January 2nd, I guess.
Yeah.
That's pretty
True.
much it.
That's
You
true.
know, you can go to bed early because this is just going to be a boring. I can see Georgia winning
17
this
to
like
13.
17-10.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
17, 13, something stupid. Yeah.
It's gonna be ugly, and I think Georgia will do just enough to beat Notre Dame. But yeah, it's gonna be a gross game.
And would I be surprised? Absolutely not.
Yeah. What if this is like the past 2 Thursday night football games where it's like 6-3?
Oh, dude,
Or
I don't even
9-6 or
the
12-6, whatever the
Seahawks
hell
Bears
that game
game was an embarrassment to the sport.
You know what's funny though is the Niners and Rams did it literally the week before, and I was like, 12-6 is the worst fucking game I've ever seen. And then the Bears and Seahawks, like you said, they just did it 6-3. It's
You can argue the Rams and 49ers game was worse because like the defenses weren't even that great in that game. In my opinion,
No.
It was just the elements and everything else. And
Yeah.
then like Stafford was off, Purdy couldn't throw the ball because it was
Yeah.
wet out. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird game. So, but yeah, just not expecting a whole lot of fireworks in the Notre Dame Georgia game, which means it's going to be like 44-38 with like
yeah,
7 defensive turnovers and
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna still take Notre Dame just basically because I don't trust Georgia and I also don't trust Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It'd be funnier if Notre Dame won.
yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm going with it. At this point.
Georgia was my preseason future pick to win the national championship game. I don't feel good about that at all. I'm not expecting
Yeah.
any return on investment there, but I think they win this game. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want Notre
Which,
Dame to
as a
win
Penn State
so you
fan,
guys
don't mind.
Yeah. I want Notre Dame to win so you guys can play them.
That would be a Notre Dame Penn State game for a chance to go to the national title is so funny to
Yeah.
think about.
Everyone's grandpa would be so hype on that game.
Oh, for sure. I have friends calling. For some reason, I had a bunch of Notre Dame fans as friends in high school, despite not like living anywhere close to them. And they're probably gonna get messages like
full of Irish Catholic people that
that is fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
love
Like, what's Notre Dame doing this year? And I'm like, nothing good. And they're like,
Yeah.
all right, whatever. You're wrong. And then they'll go like 7-8 or like 7-5 at the time that they were asking about it. Now, of course, they're all right, but whatever.
Yeah. The entire Rust Belt, for whatever reason, just loves Notre Dame.
Love Notre Dame.
I think Rudy is there's just a big
Mm.
identification with Rudy, I think. I think that's
I think
what it is.
so.
They just love Rudy.
Yeah.
Which, hey, how
Yeah.
can you not?
I feel bad for that guy who played Rudy because every time I see him in something else, I'm like, oh, that's a dude that played Rudy.
That's the issue with being really famous for one thing
Yeah.
and not necessarily being so good that you can escape it.
Yeah.
But
What's
yeah.
funny is to us he's Rudy, but then to a lot of people, they just see Samwise from fucking Lord of the Rings.
That is true as
Yeah,
well.
true. Or like
True.
my nieces, they are like my older niece. She watches Stranger Things. She knows him from Stranger Things. And when I saw it, I was like, dude, that's Rudy. And she's like, who?
Who the hell is that?
Yeah.
That's funny.
What's funny is I don't know if you guys know the true story behind that. Apparently, the whole carrying him off the field at the end of the game, like Joe Montana said, it was a bit. It was just they're like, wouldn't it be funny to just carry this practice squad guy off the field?
No, that makes me feel bad. I wish you didn't tell me that. I kind of figured that was the case, but I didn't know that was Joe Montana's year. So that also blew my mind.
He was
Real
on
life is always more disappointing than
Yeah.
movies, you know what I'm saying?
I know, but I was really hoping that it was just like, oh, he got in and then that was it. Not like they carried him off the field. And made
it
him
was
look
just
like a
senior day, and they
jackass.
let this practice squad kid play a little bit.
Damn. Yeah, fuck that
Yeah.
movie.
The official position of this podcast is
Yeah.
fuck the movie Rudy.
Yeah.
That's the official position
Notre
of this
Dame in
podcast.
general. Let's be
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
be
true.
very-
Yeah, that's what it is.
We're pro Rudy, the actual Rudy, the guy, but
Yeah.
fuck the movie, fuck Notre Dame.
There's nothing sweeter than Notre Dame fan tears.
It's true.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's true.
They can win this week because I hate SEC, but
That's
fine.
fair. Real quick, I did want to throw out two other picks I had for bowl games that I thought I would just do because I thought it'd be funny. Michigan plus 14.5 against Alabama. Mostly because I think it'd be really funny if Michigan like also ruins Alabama's like. I think that they're at least going to make it tough on them, and I think all the people who are like, "Oh, Alabama needed to be in the playoff if we're doing this right," and it's like, what if they lose to Michigan, let alone struggle against them? How amazing would that be?
That's hilarious. Funny enough, before you get into your next pick, I also bet Michigan this week. I took Michigan money line at plus 390. I love it. I love the idea of Michigan beating Alabama. I think this might be the bowl season that people are like, is the SEC not that great?
This year has exposed them.
USC. I mean, do you guys see what USC did to A&M?
Yeah, well, Texas A&M, to be fair, is sometimes I feel like they don't actually exist and that they just like phase in and out of reality every so often. Like when they beat a team that's really good is when they exist, and then they like the moon shifts and then they just disappear for a while. So like I don't know if you can really count that. Although I do think, is Missouri losing to Iowa currently?
No, they end up winning. I just
checked. Did they win?
Yeah, they won 27-24.
Well, that's disappointing. I would have liked Missouri to lose that game. Although, shout out Bo Prabula going to Missouri. Good for him. Hopefully he has a good year with them or a good career with them. But, I kind of thought it'd be funny if Iowa beat Missouri just because, man.
But Michigan beating Alabama would really dispel that whole narrative that, like, Alabama would have had the same record as Indiana with their schedule.
Yeah.
Really would have, yeah.
South Carolina is about to destroy Illinois.
And that's what my other pick is. Minus
Go ahead, sorry.
South Carolina. Hey, Casey, good job throwing that one. South Carolina minus 9.5. Illinois is kind of, well, Dalton, you know this. Like, Illinois is good except the court. Now, is Altmaier even playing in this game? I heard something about him transferring.
I have no idea.
I heard something that he may transfer or something. So if he's not playing, I don't know if that means anything. But I know your hate for Luke Altmaier is part of why I made this pick, because I thought it'd be funny for you. But yeah, I got South Carolina. I actually like South Carolina a lot. I would have much rather had them go in over Alabama if an SEC team was going to.
I agree.
So that's kind of why I'm kind of hate Alabama a little bit. Not their fault, but just because. And then South Carolina, kind of a big fan. Also, Sellers, fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, other than the Michigan pick, I did have a parlay, and in my parlay, I actually did take Illinois plus 10.
Oh no!
Plus. Okay, all right. I thought you were about to take their money line.
the quarterback play aside, I just think Illinois' defense is going to keep that game close. I don't know if South Carolina is explosive enough on offense to make the plays they're going to need to, because Illinois' defense is just really good. I mean, Bielema has very consistently had that defense cooking since he's been there. Mm-hmm. So that's the defense is the main reason why I think they'll keep that close. I also have Michigan plus 13.5 in that parlay. And my other one is I have under 45 in the Notre Dame-Georgia game because, again, like we said, this should be very safe. That's going to be an ugly game. But those three picks together, parlay at plus 608.
Nice.
I like that. All right. Any other picks?
Nope.
I got nothing on the college football end other than what I gave, which I'm sure I'll regret giving extra picks because I'll probably be good on the college football playoff picks and then go 0-2 on my other picks. But it is what
it's okay. Also, good luck to the 49ers tonight. The Detroit Lions are going to embarrass you for last year's NFC Championship game. Just a heads up.
I heard something about, is Purdy out or something?
I don't think he's out.
Was he banged up? I heard something like that.
No, the offensive line had another injury. I forget exactly who it was over this week. And, the other line is, Pooney and then 4 no names.
That'll be good.
Yeah, so it's not no names, but our third string guys, it's bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could just say that about the season. No offense, Casey.
Yeah.
That's kind of where you're at right now.
Yeah.
So, but
I don't think like last week. I think we were down to like one extra lineman. Like if one other dude went down, it was like I don't know who's gonna like. I guess we just throw in the 2 tight ends and pray for the best.
George Kittle playing left tackle.
Yeah. Oh,
Be
that would be
fun.
fun actually.
A lot of
All right.
tackle eligible stuff you could do there, but anyway.
Yeah. All right. So we appreciate you guys watching. We will see you guys for the semifinals of the college football playoffs, and then it is escaping my mind. When will does the NFL wildcard start the following week?
Yeah.
I think it's the day after our next show. Because there's a Thursday wild card game.
That's right. That's right.
So it'll be the day
disgusting.
After our next show. Yeah.
So all right, if we're following
disgusting.
the math here, guys, the next Thursday night game is literally going to be 3-0. So
can't wait for whoever plays that fucking game.
Yeah.
Almost as if Thursday night football is an abomination in general and shouldn't exist.
Amazon's going to be like, all right, guys, what about Wednesday night football? Yeah. And then we're going to have an NFL game on every night of the week in the next 15 years.
20 games, 5 nights a week. You have to start playing with 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time. I don't know. Something's going to They're going to be like crazy shit.
They're going to be like the MLB guys play 162 games a season. You guys can't play 20?
Right?
We're going to have Packers-Chiefs on a Tuesday night game in Sudan on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it's going to be Paramount Plus exclusive playing in Portugal.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Jaguars somehow playing from London but in Portugal. It's going to be – we're going to have 36 teams soon.
You know what would
the NFL will not be stopped, guys. I think that's the answer to what we're talking about right now. So,
You know what would be hilarious if like Stream East or one of those illegal sites were like, we are exclusively streaming the Carolina Panthers and Saints
partnered with the Panthers. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Only on Stream East Wednesday at 7 a.m.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys watching. Next week we'll have the full house. Again, as long as no one else is out. I think we're all here next week. We'll be back to regularly scheduled programs. So Wednesday at 9:30. Yeah. So we appreciate you guys tuning in early. Sorry again for the show not being on last week, but hey, it's Crimbus. So we had to take off.
Merry Chrysler.
Yeah. Did you guys want to do a off-the-cuff touchdown parlay real quick?
Sure, man. Let's see.
Just pick a guy.
Let's find out.
Let's make one for let's make one for tonight. Pick any guy you want.
Let's see.
3 guys.
Let's see.
3 guys to score tonight.
Yep.
Love it.
All right, let's go Monday Night Football.
Of
course, you know what? Honestly, go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me see. Give me. Let's see.
This is the most degenerate thing.
Has Kyle Juszczyk scored yet, Casey?
If he has, it has been a while.
Okay, because I'm really debating taking him.
Do it. This seems like a game for him.
A Kyle Juszczyk touchdown?
Yeah, let's do it. So Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyle Juszczyk, and then I'm going to go Amon-Ra.
Okay.
I like that.
I was debating between him and Kittle.
I think you got to score 2 lines. You got to have 2 lines.
Yeah, 2 lines on there, I think. Yeah. So that's
2,300.
Yeah, you're getting over 2,000 odds on this one. All right, if you take this one, you are degenerate, and we appreciate it because this was off the cuff.
It's also really pretty much entirely because of me picking Kyle Juszczyk. Otherwise, this would be a normal touchdown parlay. Actually,
no, it's hitting. If you're really degenerate, take Kyle Juszczyk 2+ tonight.
Exactly. Actually, specifically, it's going to be on a wheel route on like a 60-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Because like all the Lions defenders just forget that Kyle Juszczyk's on the field for some reason, and then he just scores from 60 yards out.
And he loves to do. Yeah, that's exactly
with all the other line injuries, he might play a lot though. So like
he might.
I'd play him at guard. Who cares? You guys aren't
It
winning
might-
anything. No offense, Casey. Who cares? Who
No,
plays
yeah,
where?
fuck it.
Put Jacob Cowling at tight end. That'd be fun. He's like, what, 110 pounds, I think?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's do that. Ricky Pearsall at quarterback. I don't know. He takes some shots down the field.
There we
Anyway,
go.
he might be able
All
to
right.
line up correctly at least if he's a quarterback. Kind of
Yeah.
can't mess that one up, What's going on with that, real quick, Casey? Why can't Ricky? It feels like every time I see Ricky Pearsall, it's false starting or something.
Yeah,
I liked him a lot. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't think it's him. I think it's just a microcosm of everything. Like,
Assuredly so.
Yeah, like I think him getting shot in the chest unexpectedly was
That
just
does
like
hurt as well, probably.
just like completely threw his rhythm off for the season. And then when he got in, I think they were like scared of what the offense was going to look like and really buckled down to like, we're only throwing it to George Kittle or running it up the middle.
Fair enough.
Or throwing it to Juwan Jennings. So like anything new is off the table, especially with that O-line. So I hope he has a better year next year because, I mean, that's just a waste of talent and a waste of a first-round pick if you're not going to utilize him.
Yeah, when Deebo Samuel's playing for like the Panthers or something, he can start.
Yeah,
I can't believe you said that because I literally was thinking, I was like, dude, he's going to go to the Saints or Panthers or something next year, like a team that's like looking to make a bounce back.
That'd
like,
be funny. Yeah.
Deebo on the Saints would be interesting.
Yeah.
I think you could say that about anybody on the Saints because it's like, where are they going to put the money that he's owed?
Yeah.
Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's the Saints.
I'd rather have
They'll
Chase
extend Derek
Young
Carr
back.
for 6 years and make him 7 void years. Who gives a shit anymore?
Yeah.
He doesn't exist.
Kamara and Deebo for the next 4 years.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So
anyway.
All right. Well, good luck to everyone. Thank you guys for watching. If you, like I said, follow that parlay, what was over 2000s, like 2,300 or something like that. So use check, Gibbs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And we will see you guys next Wednesday.